Both starting VGK goaltenders are out of the lineup now as Logan Thompson is listed currently as day-to-day with an upper body injury. More on the Golden Knights goalie carousel coming your way next, right here on Locked On Golden Knights.
Your Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hi again from Las Vegas. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick reporting. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's Locked On Golden Knights. And we are brought to you today by Sleeper. Download the Sleeper app. Use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL. You'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. That's Locked On NHL. Yes, welcome to this season's edition of the VGK Goalie Carousel once again. Unbelievable, Chris.
You're surprised? You're surprised?
And Logan Thompson of VGK, Sheldon, Carolina, giving up 6 goals a couple of nights back. Wednesday morning quarterbacks, a.k.a. us, asking, why did LT start that game on Tuesday after we felt that he tweaked something on Sunday in relief of Adin Hill against Ottawa? But that looked like a lower body injury of sorts yesterday. VGK announces Logan Thompson is out, listed day to day. Isaiah Saville was brought up. He and Jiri Patera are the 2 VGK goaltenders for tonight and for Saturday for the matinee in Sunrise, Florida. Strange turn of events, right, for VGK. And we thought that Thompson suffered a lower body injury. From everything that we saw, you were there. You were upstairs in the press section. What can you make of this current situation for VGK?
Not good. This goes back to what we talked about over the summer and what happens if Jiri Patera needed to be the man for a while. Can the Golden Knights get through this without compromising much or any of their current spots in the standings, which I think is still top of the Pacific, near the top of the NHL? If there's a positive, it might be the timing, so to speak, because the Golden Knights got to get through 2 more games. They got the holiday break. And then their games are somewhat spread out due to the Winter Classic. Jiri Patera, possibly your Winter Classic starter. How about that?
Wow.
So, listen, this sucks no matter how you look at it. But if there is a potential golden or silver or in Isaiah Saville situation, neon green lining, colors for the Savannah Ghost Pirates, it's the fact that the Golden Knights don't play a lot of games. Looking for my schedule. It's somewhere up here.
And Jiri Patera doesn't even have a goalie mask, a special one for the Winter Classic.
I'm sure that can arrangements can be made right there. So the Golden Knights have 4 games left in this calendar year. Tampa, Florida, back-to-backs after the holiday, after Christmas, Anaheim and the LA Kings. And then you have 1, 2, 3 calendar days off, the Winter Classic, 1, 2 calendar days off. So basically, between right now and let's call it January the 6th, the Golden Knights have 7 games. 7 games over basically 2 weeks and 16 total days. So the good thing is there's time for Adin and or Logan to heal. And the starts are spread out enough to where the Golden Knights can manage Patera's workload and see if and or when Saville might get a crack. Obviously, you'll look after the Christmas break. I would assume Saville would start one of those 2 games. And, this is interesting. Saville was already on Cassidy's radar, and maybe there was some foreshadowing here. This was brought up on Sunday's game, I believe, against the Ottawa Senators when everyone was trying to figure out, okay, Adin's hurt, Logan looked hurt, what's going on, talking about the e-bugs and stuff. And Cassidy himself talked about Saville, I think, having a 3-game winning streak and looking good at the AHL level. So, not that this was necessarily the indicator, but it was somewhat suspect, at least to me, why Michael Bullion was brought up to Henderson on a PTO from the Savannah Ghost Pirates. And turns out Michael Bullion was the starter last night, Wednesday, in Henderson for the crazy teddy bear toss game. And Bullion actually gave up 1 goal, but he was all over the place. He first ever professional AHL start, so give him some slack, obviously, for that. But he used every bit of the crease and then some. Dude could not just sit still and be comfortable. But, 1 game, he got the win. That's good. But, now it's all starting to make sense, I guess.
I think that LT pulls the Undertaker role tonight and comes back and winds up in net somehow. Just kidding. Where he resurrects.
I know. We love watching WWE. But yeah,
okay. So Patera tonight. Why not Saville on Saturday? That would become. He hasn't started yet in the NHL. It feels like he's been here forever. 3 seasons on the AHL level. He played with Savannah a season ago, and October the 9th is when he was injured. And then he missed a lot of time with Henderson. Saville.
To be fair, Saville has played 21 games with the Silver Knights dating back to the 2021-22 season. Injuries and all sorts of things obviously have thrown that into a loop. University of Nebraska, Omaha, just in the 21-22 season. So, I mean, this is an interesting spot. And if there's a positive in all this, it's the goalies. And I don't mean any disrespect to Logan or Adin when I say this, but goalies sometimes can be a much more plug-and-play position versus like an NFL quarterback, where if you lose your starting quarterback, just the wheels come off. And I don't want to get started on a rant about NFL quarterbacks, but point being is a goalie's job. Yes, it's a different game, NHL, AHL, college, Division I, wherever these goalies come from. But at the end of the day, the job is the same. Stop the pucks. There's your procedures. There's your ways you go about doing this. And hopefully it all works out in the end. But the reality needs to be acknowledged right now is that the Golden Knights have 3 games plus a couple mop-up duty starts as far as NHL experience for Patera, and 21 AHL appearances for the backup goaltender. So the Golden Knights now have their $5.7 million of goaltending parked day to day for now. Like this is the key, guys. So pay attention. Sometime between, I would say, locally 10:30 and 11:30. You'll see a press conference uploaded by the Golden Knights PR team. And what is Coach Cassidy going to say about both of these injuries, mainly Logan Thompson? If it ends, and follow me here, if it ends with we're calling it day-to-day for now, it's not good. That is not good. We've heard this with players. We've heard this with goalies. And when the dreaded we're calling it XYZ for now comes, it's going to be a minute. So buckle up, Golden Knight fans. This is expected. This is what happens in Southern Nevada with NHL goaltenders. It's, maybe there's something about wherever the goalies' locker room stalls are. Maybe they're, I won't say an Indian like burial ground beneath it, but maybe some old mobsters or something use more of a reference Vegas type of term. And just maybe it's the curse of is Jimmy Hoffa down there somewhere? I don't know, but
it's a curse of the made men.
Yeah, there's something going on with NHL goaltenders in Vegas, and you got to bet Kelly McCrimmon is looking at the severity of what's happening. Obviously, people in the organization.
They need another goaltender. Let's face it. They need a strong number.
I was banging the drum for Halak during the offseason.
He's still around now. We know that.
Someone's still going to be around, and listen, if no moves get made, that tells you that you're looking at, maybe a week, 10, 12 days, maybe basically by January, one of the goaltenders will be back. If Elliot Friedman, if he starts reporting that Golden Knights are making calls about goalies, Yeah. Or see if someone goes to LTIR on the goalie side too. That's the other sure tell that something's up.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. If either of the two starting goaltenders would go to LTIR, and if it's Adin Hill, that frees up a ton of money for VGK, $5 million if he goes onto the LTIR. And to me, still, again, everyone the other night, oh no, there's nothing wrong. There was no injury to Thompson. Yeah, sure, guys. Okay, everyone knows. They've all got that insight. Yeah, okay. Because he was still injured. I don't know what the upper body, lower body discrepancy is all about, or if that's even true. Will the NHL look into something like that? Because apparently it was a leg injury for Logan Thompson on Sunday. That's not an upper body injury, folks. That's lower body. Even I know that.
I see where you're going with that. And you and I had a conversation about that on the side. And it's a fair question to ask. And why, would the team mention upper body versus lower body? Maybe it really is an upper body. I mean, that possibility has to be there.
You heard
Maybe it's
something
not.
else, you think? Maybe perhaps in
Something
Carolina?
else definitely could have happened. And, Coach Cassidy did mention that Logan's been having a lot of work on the side going back to Sunday's games. So maybe
Too
something
much.
happened
Too
Sunday
much.
and it all too
It's
much.
too
How we
much.
said. No,
It's too much work.
it's fair. I mean, they ran Logan out there, I think 10 of the last 11 games or something like that. And, Patera's been there, and maybe, if this is a new injury, fine, so be it. But if it's a new injury, it's because of the workload. And this will be a question if Logan is going to be gone long term. And let's just, let's be Grinches for a second. Well, that's pretty easy for yeah, okay. Let's be Grinches here for a second, and let's assume just something terribly bad has happened to Logan, and he misses 2-3 months, and Adin Hill's gone for a while, and the Golden Knights fall out of playoff contention. Again, I hope that's not what happens. We're just playing devil's advocate here. But if that does, a lot of people will be asking, why did Logan Thompson start Tuesday's game against the Carolina Hurricanes when it was clear his fatigue level was compromised based on all the starts he had been having?
Coming up next, we've got a preview of VGK against the Lightning game tonight. Yes, they will be in action. We'll get to all of that when we return right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Passion, drive, and patience, what brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything that you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and much, much more. Whether you are into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you are looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back, because with eBay Motors, you are burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need and the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. That's ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. Welcome back to Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. We appreciate that. Also, make sure to tune in on Fridays. That's WTF, which is already coming up again tomorrow. This year has just flown by. So make sure to get all your comments in early, because they're always a lot of fun. And, of course, on Saturdays, we have got the Chris and Chris show. And that comes your way here, of course, each and every Saturday, exclusively on YouTube.
I got a feeling a lot of the comments are going to be about the goalies tomorrow. I'm just throwing them.
You think so?
Yes, I'm just going to throw them in, whatever.
TMZ just messaged, so they want to go today. So this could be a fun day.
Oh, boy.
I wonder if they want to talk about goaltenders. Maybe that's it. Don't forget the Las Vegas Bowl is coming up. Free hat, free stuff. You know me. I'm really good at that.
Oh, yeah.
Coming up on Saturday over at Allegiant Stadium at 4 o'clock. It's Northwestern versus the University of Utah. That's right. This could be a high-scoring game tonight. Both VGK and the Lightning can score, and they both give up goals. Tampa, at last check, this is a different Tampa team. They give up 4 goals per game. And their defense, they just installed, Chris, a new this season zone defense. Why? Because this is a copycat league and they want to be like the VGK. And we knew that we would see the Golden Knights success spawn other imposters, if you will. I don't know, what have you. But but this will be pretty. I think it's a high scoring game tonight. And they finally have Andre Vasilevsky back. 6-5 is his record. 2.83, 904. He had that back surgery over the off season and came back late. He had a herniated lumbar disc, if you're keeping track at home there.
Isn't that
and they've had
close
to
to what
also
Stone
rely-
had too the first time?
What's that?
Isn't that close to what Stone had the first time too?
Yeah,
From his surgeries?
yeah. It's the lower back injury, and they had to repair the disc. And Jonas Johansson has filled in a ton, but tonight we will see the fabled Andre Vasilevsky in it.
Yeah, so you saw me while you were doing your ad read. I was kind of shaking my head, looking up and down at the Tampa
Because
stats.
you don't like the
and-
way I read. I know. It's all
no,
good.
no. I know. Yeah,
I'm just kidding,
exactly.
just kidding,
I wasn't reading, so I love the way you read. But no, Nikita Kucherov, 54 points, 32 games. Holy, that's that's fun. Braden Point, 35 points. Stamkos, 34. So that rounds out your
Take
point
the
leaders. But
over. Take the
yeah,
over.
no, the over looks fun. I was trying to load it. My stations app isn't loading right now. It's got to be probably 6.5 juiced at the over. But I'll try and find it before we finish the show. But here's the interesting thing. Stamkos is a point per game player, a little bit better, but he's a -12. Victor Hedman, defenseman, 29 points, 31 games, -7. Sugashev, defenseman, -13. Nicholas Paul, forward, -13. Darren Radish, -11. So, yeah, there's some high events hockey happening down in Tampa, to say the least. Look at some of the recent games. Tampa was a 6-1 winner against the Blues, but then on the road, they're a 4-2 loser. On the road, they defeat the Oilers 7-4. And then they're a 4-1 loser against the Canucks. Kraken, they need to go to OT. They win 4-3, but then they lose in Nashville 5-1. So, it depends. It seems like a Jekyll and Hyde type of team right now. Who's going to show up, right? Which Tampa team is going to show up? Is it the veteran team that's won multiple recent Stanley Cups and been deep in the playoffs? Or is it this team that's lost to teams like Cal, 1, 2, 3, Gary, and Nashville and stuff like that? Even a loss to the Arizona Coyotes, although the Coyotes like beating Stanley Cup champions. So maybe that's nothing negative towards Tampa. I don't know.
Steven Stamkos had a 4-game goal, 4-goal game. Yes. 3 in the third period against Edmonton the other night. And he's starting to come on now of late.
They wanted him gone. Like the team was like actively trying to move him or something in the offseason. That was very odd.
Who knows? Mikhail Sugashev, as you said, you mentioned his name, and I like the way you pronounce it, so I had to do the same. But he did yesterday have a boot on his left foot after blocking a shot against St. Louis the other night.
Upper body injury, right? Sorry.
It's an upper body injury. Yes, you beat me to the punch, you stinking rat. 69 total block shots for the Lightning for Sugashev this season. You got to have fun doing this, right?
I mean, listen, it's that time of year, and listen, we joke about this stuff, maybe getting off the rails already, but the Golden Knights, when it comes to injuries and disclosing, it's nothing against the Golden Knights. Every team, is afforded this from the NHL as far as upper body, lower body, day to day. Like there's no accountability from the NHL to measure this stuff. So, it's fine. It's all a good fun, and it's not necessarily good, bad towards the NHL or towards the Golden Knights as much as it is towards the NHL for allowing these teams to be so cryptic in their disclosures.
Yeah, it's real interesting. And in addition to that zone defense, I have to point out they run that basketball-esque box and one. They run the box and one also.
So what, the center chases the puck and you run 4 corners? Is that how that works?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
A box and one, or they're going to isolate one-on-one against Eichel with a zone type of defense behind them.
So another big question going into tonight's game is what are the lines going to be? And this is something that we were critical of Coach Cassidy's decision making. Tampa's
Man, that
given
was
up
one of
the
his worst games as far as decision making, starting with the starting lineup since he's been here in Vegas, or the worst. I don't know. We're never critical of the guy because he's been awesome, but
no, it was a fair criticism. Really quick, Tampa and that zone defense, they've given up the third most goals in the NHL, so they might need to rethink what they're doing there. But what are the lines going to be tonight? And a concern that maybe was kind of swept under the rug just because the team got blown the heck out was why did Keegan Colasar's absence call for the entire bottom three lines to be moved around after the team had been 7-2-1 or 8-2 whatever it was in their last 10? They had been pretty close to spectacular. You do always hear the old adage, don't mess with the winning lineup. And listen, Coach Cassidy's been right many more times than he's been wrong. So, if he's putting himself out on a limb, changing the lines, I mean, I guess I applaud his confidence in doing so. He's been right many more times than he's been wrong. I'll say it again, but does he go back to the line combinations that had been working? Maybe Colasar will be back. I guess we'll start the bidding there. But if Colasar is not back, does Ronbjerg draw into the lineup, and then you keep lines 2 and 3 as is? I think that's
wait, Colasar's
probably
not even on the trip. He's not even on the trip, right?
okay. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, he's not on
I
the
don't
trip.
recall what the precise comment was, if he was going to be gone for
Yeah, he's
unavailable
not.
for Tuesday or not on the trip. But
He's not on
either
the
way,
trip.
then
Yeah.
Ronbjerg in. Line 4's minutes get cut a little bit. If Nick Waugh needs to move around the lines to spell somebody for a different look, fine, so be it. But back to the formula that's worked for the entire season, and what has the Golden Knights still sitting at the top of the league as far as overall points go, and has them in 4th overall in points percentage. Like, leave the lineup how it's been, and let's see what happens here. And the Golden Knights might need to find some complementary scoring outside of the top line, who's just been absolutely on fire. And Will Carrier did get 2 goals in the rough game
What
against
did
the
you call him?
Hurricanes. What's that? Oh,
What's his name?
Carrier.
Carrier.
Pardon me, Carrier. They even called him Carrier. Like, my son loves watching the Stanley Cup banner raising video, and in part of the video, they do show the team announcing the misfits on the expansion draft, and they even said Carrier on that glorious day too.
Unbelievable. Coming up next, we've got your locks of the night and predictions for tonight's high scoring game.
Should we add how many goalies are going to be used into our predictions?
We'll get to all that when we return right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Mark Stone scores a hat trick. VGK wins the Stanley Cup again. And if you want to win 100 times your money, play daily fantasy hockey on the Sleeper app. These are all possible scenarios for this season. But to have a chance to win big, you need to play daily fantasy hockey on Sleeper as the official daily fantasy app of Locked On NHL and the Locked On NHL Network. Sleeper is our top choice for daily fantasy sports, especially daily fantasy hockey. With Sleeper, you can win 100 times your cash, 100 times your cash in daily fantasy hockey contest. And entries can be made in under a minute. Tonight, for instance, just take that entire Lightning lineup there. And I would have to go, of course, with Kucherov, 22 goals, 54 points. I would have to go with Stamkos. He's on a heater right now, 34 points, 35 points for Brayden Post. That's what I would do tonight. Just my 2 cents. And all you need to do is pick more or less on the stats for those stars. Choose the stats like goals, assists, saves, plus, minus, and much, much more. You heard us, VGK fans, 100 times payouts on Sleeper. So start paying attention. Get your picks in right now so you could win big. Use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL. That's LOCKEDONNHL. You'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. Go to the Sleeper app. Use the code LOCKEDONNHL. See Sleeper's terms of use and details. Welcome back to Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick reporting from Las Vegas, home of the goalie carousel.
It's not the goalie carousel. Like, the goalie, like a goalie carousel is like a fun ride, and It goes nice and slow. This is like a goalie carousel spinning at like 75 miles an hour, and the Golden Knights goalies are trying to hold on for dear life and not fall off. And I mean that jokingly, but I also mean it seriously. So that's the
Remember,
reality of Southern Nevada professional hockey.
do you remember when I think it was at one of those theme parks, the Matterhorn got stuck and just kept going around and around
I've
and
seen a
around?
few of those videos. They scare the crap out of me, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That's what it's like. Well, this is also scaring the crap out of VGK fans for sure,
No,
as
they're
well as
used to it. They're
probably
numb to. They are numb to this. They are numb to this. I promise.
probably the front office. No, because last year they had insurance. They had
Brossois,
other,
yeah, Brossois was the extra,
yeah.
tool in the tool belt, and it was good to have him. And listen, let's give Jiri some. I won't say credit because he hasn't earned it. Give
Oh no, no, no.
Jiri
He's on the
some.
cup. He gets cred.
Fair enough. Give Jiri the benefit of the doubt until he doesn't have it, and maybe Yuri's going to go in and give up 2 or 3 goals a game and give the Golden Knights a chance to win every game. And if that's the case, wonderful. The Golden Knights, Kelly McCrimmon, general manager, did have faith. When I asked him, I'm going to unearth this question. I probably said it for the last 2 shows, but I'm going to unearth my question from the opening media day when Kelly McCrimmon addressed the state of the team, so to speak, when the training camp opened. And I'm going to get his response, and we're going to see how long McCrimmon holds himself to that response. I guess if something happens with a goalie signing or trade in the next couple of days. Okay.
All right. So where is the Golic fam?
I don't know. I think they're still. I asked them before the show, and they both the kids were kind of like, eh. And then I kind of shout out we were doing the locks, and I got no response. So I got
Still there. Okay.
I got the shun. I got shunned. So we'll tweet it most likely before the game this time.
Okay. Tonight's game, the second period will be key. John Cooper has been stressing that his team has fallen apart in second periods, and VGK
Take the over in the second period. Got it.
Yep, VGK is plus 16 in the second period, so that's going to be one of our barometers tonight.
So they were plus 19 then before Carolina.
Exactly. How about that? I'm going to go in a high-scoring 8-5 affair, 8-5 Tampa, and I'm going to go with Dorofeev and Carrier. Carrier's on a heater.
I guess so. I mean,
2 goals,
sure.
yeah.
So, all right. So we got 8-5 for Tony, Doro, and Carrier. We'll see if Doro draws into this game or not. Last time you picked someone who may or may not draw, and they didn't draw.
Well,
you had Polisar on Tuesday.
Polisar after I said
on Tuesday, and you still had 2 goals.
I still had 2 goals. Yeah.
Good job. Stevenson and Mike Gamadio. Stevenson, I think goals in 4 of his last 6, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 5 of his last 7, one of the 2. Madio's been quiet. So this seems like a spot where he might get a greasy goal. With you on a high-scoring game, I'm going 6-4 Tampa.
Yeah. There's this VGK has such a good response level, right? Where they come back.
Absolutely.
A good bounce back level, if you will. I'm just curious if they take it to heart tonight and the marquee players do step up for the Golden Knights. That's one of the things.
Should. I mean, no, you're right. And Jonathan Marchessault's comments after Tuesday's game, it's not about X's and O's. It's about how you go and respond the next game. And Marchessault will not let the team slide. And what I mean is if there's if they play a middling first period where they're down 1-0, doesn't look like a lot of life, they get like 7 shots on goal or something like that, Marchessault is going to be the first person to speak up in the locker room. And it'll be followed by Mark Stone, Alec Martinez, and whoever wants to be the voice. But this is a game where you will see, and not that Marchessault's leadership is ever to be questioned, but I think you might see it on display tonight, and it'll start with his play on the ice. Marchessault is probably going to be hitting everything that moves, and we go from there. So last night, did you see my tweet, Tony, about how many teddy bears landed on the ice at the Dollar Loan Center?
I did. Okay, a couple things here. So I broadcast a UNLV basketball game one time.
Okay.
And I got hit in the head with about a dozen teddy bears. People were, I think, were just aiming right at me because I was courtside. I know now to leave that area whenever there's a teddy bear toss. Okay. number one. Number two, that was really unbelievable, but that's not what I was going to say. The Town Crier karaoke, WTF, WTF.
What about it?
What
Listen,
is it?
okay, it's fun. It's fun, is what it is. So put on your fun hat for a second. So at the first intermission of every Silver Knights game, after they're in a home stretch of zamboning the ice and everything, lights go down. Town Crier gives his declaration that it's Town Crier karaoke, and he announces the song. The lights are off. They got all these fun lights going and stuff, kind of like a little party atmosphere, and they got the words to the song underneath the screen, and it's going from different people in the crowd and watching them sing and stuff. And last night's game was Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen, all-time song, one of my favorite songs. Dollar for Dollar beats the pants out of Stairway to Heaven for my money, but obviously I might be in the minority on that one. But it's fun. It's fun, and the Town Crier has a minor role in it, so you won't get that upset about it. But
Okay,
it's
but
fun.
I took the under on the amount of teddy bears. I had 13,092, and I took the under.
I want to know how I don't know if they actually count them all, or just go by the number of people and multiply it by like 2 point. They figure each person brings 2.975 teddy bears, because they announced 5,500 and change as far as the attendance, which good crowd. I think you only get 6,600 in there for hockey, if I'm not mistaken. So they figured, okay, each person brings 2.875 teddy bears. Boom, boom, boom. That's how many there were, and here we go. But nice night. Here's the weird thing, though. They sent the teams to intermission early after the teddy bear toss, because they scored with about 4 minutes left. They brought the teams back on the ice. They went to the same sides, so they completed the first period and then switched sides and started the second period without an intermission. And then the other one more interesting take really fast here. Not a take, one more interesting thing. The starting goalie, I believe it was Jack LaFontaine for the Coachella Valley Firebirds, gets hurt early on. Looked like a back injury, holding his back, had to be helped off the ice. Hope he's doing better today.
Herniated lumbar disc.
Yeah, exactly. So in comes Morris, is the guy's last name. Very limited amount of AHL starts. And Chris gets my attention as the second period is starting. It says, hey, who's the goalie on the bench? So I guess the AHL allows you to have more than 2 goalies on your roster eligible to play, thus avoiding the e-bug situation, because it was their like 4th goalie on their roster, Selma, I forgot the player's name. So that was kind of interesting. So apparently it's okay not to do the e-bug in the AHL, but they like having the e-bug in the NHL, which is kind of a head scratcher to me if that's the case.
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous. Don't forget, coming up on tomorrow's show, it's WTF, What the Friday. And on Saturdays, the Chris and Chris show that comes your way, a YouTube exclusive. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Locked On Golden Knights. For my man, Chris Garlick, I'm Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. We appreciate you tuning in. As always, make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. That would be very helpful to close out this year. And we'll see you tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Take care.